We'll open up officially with our motto. If you would, please come off mute. Repeat after me. One God,
One God,
One God,
One God,
one aim,
one aim,
one aim,
one destiny.
one
one
destiny.
destiny.
All right, meeting is officially open. Tonight is March 27th, 2024, 8:07 p.m. This is Dr. Julius Nairi, CBPM, Atlanta Division 421. And this is executive meeting reviewing our proposed amendments, resolutions, and proposals for upcoming High Executive Council. I didn't want to do everything. I didn't want to do all the heavy lifting, but I am prepared. Brother Ross, President Ross, I'm probably going to lead on you to kind of guide priorities. I do have some notes that I can share. I was hoping everyone else was taking notes as well, and we didn't have to rely on just my stuff. But I am prepared. But Ross, did you want to open up on what you feel the priority is?
yes, thank you very much, President John, and greetings, brothers and sisters. This is for the High Executive Council meeting happening April 10th or April 11th in
April 11th through 13th.
11th through 13th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Definitely, if you can get a chance to go to the headquarters, you got to see that building. That's a magnificent building. But what this meeting is about tonight is that when proposals and resolutions and amendments are presented at the HEC, it has to be presented by a division. It can't be presented individually. No person can just say, hey, HEC, this is what I want you to vote on at the HEC. And certain things, if it passes at the HEC, then it becomes an item to be voted on at the convention during the same year in August, later on in August, for it to become law or adapted resolution or amendment to the Constitution and so on. So tonight meeting, the key important thing that I want everybody to understand is that with Division 421, we have to have one voice. We're either going to say, yes, we're in support of this resolution, or we're in support of this amendment or proposal, or no, we're not. And that's how it has to be. It has to be we as the executive officers collectively, democratically saying, yes, we want to put this resolution forward at HEC. So we need all officers' involvement, from words to actions to voting and everything. Please don't sit on the sideline. Give your input. We have to make sure it's a collective decision, because we are the leaders of our division and we are the representative of our division. So as officers, this is part of our job to make sure that we give a collective representation here on the executive board that is also the voice for the members of our division. So that's what I wanted to share. And thank you, President John, for that, for letting me go ahead and say 1 or 2 words.
Yes.
And I'm here throughout.
Okay. Thank you, President Ross. Thank you for that grounding. I needed that. I've been thinking about resolutions and amendments for a while, and I was concerned that we may get to a point where I don't have input from our other officers, and I would have to make an executive decision. But I like your comment. I agree with that, and we will, all resolutions that we present will be approved by this executive body. So, any questions or comments before we get started? Okay. From a direction standpoint, as far as what we will present tonight, I'll start with I'll start with the resolutions or amendments that we already have ready. So reinstate Article 3 is, I'm putting that as our number one priority. Electronic voting for all members is our number two priority right now. And amongst us as a body, these are the only resolutions and amendments that we have made a priority. So let me go through these first.
John?
Yes,
President
sir.
John? I don't know if you received the email that First Vice President Brother Macis presented, sent out. He sent it out, I think, a couple of nights ago.
Uh-huh.
And it's either a resolution or a proposal for a business venture. So I received it and I had looked at it, but I don't know if First Vice President understand that whatever proposal or resolution he's presenting, it has to be voted on by our executive.
Yeah.
So I don't know if some way we can get him on the phone. And did anybody else receive the proposal that First VP presented?
I did have it up. I have it now.
Okay.
Brother Eric said no. So you can hear us now, Brother Eric? Good. Okay.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that everybody in the division who had an idea, suggestion, that it's brought forward in front of us, because that's the proper way to do it, you know?
Let me call Brother Macias really quick. If he's not able to represent it, then we're gonna have to move on.
Okay.
President John.
First Vice President, what's going on?
Yes, sir. We got the call today.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah, because you gave us, you submitted the resolution, but we need you to clarify it and talk through it so we can present it. Thank you.
I didn't want to leave out First VP's resolution, you know?
Yes, I appreciate that. I didn't even realize it was an official resolution. I just thought it was a recommendation, but
Okay.
okay. All right. Let's get to our first resolution. And some of our resolutions have already been submitted to the resolutions committee, and this is one of those. So let me see, where is this at? This maze. Where did I put this thing? I just eat. Oh, what did I do with that? I know I sent it out. Let me check what I sent to Secretary General. Should have a copy though. It should be a, wait a minute. UNIA, Constitution, there we go. Article 3 amendment. Okay, let me share my screen. So name of submitter, Ross Marvin, can I put your name in here as well? Can I put you as the lead? Ross Marvin, you on mute. Ross Marvin, you there? Okay, all right. Well, if there's not any objection to me adding Ross Marvin's name from Ross Marvin, I will add his name to this amendment. Brother Macy's, we'll get to yours in just a moment. We'll probably pull up yours next. Ross Marvin, you there? Because if you're not there, then I ain't gonna. Hold on. Okay, we got some comments in the chat. Can I ask something really fast? In the other meeting, the woman who helps a lot with the definitions and such, that is Secretary General Brenda Amor Khan, gave a good definition of resolution. Do you remember the explanation for the difference between a proposal, resolution, and the other? So the other would be an amendment. Amendment is a direct change to the Constitution. either something that is listed in the Constitution and you want to change, something that you want to remove from the Constitution, or something that you feel needs to be added to the Constitution is amendments. So amendments are pretty straightforward. Proposal would be, the way I remember it, proposal is a suggestion. So it may not it may not be something that is being done right now. It may be something new, but it doesn't affect the Constitution. You would like to propose this idea. So proposal, I think the UNIA should start a space program. That would be a proposal, or it could be an amendment if you want to make it constitutional, but it's something new that's not being done. Resolutions, on the other hand, are corrections. So, or what we see as a correction. So resolutions use the words whereas, and then it ends with be it resolved. So example would be, whereas I think we used that previously to get lady presidents involved on president's call. It was like, whereas presidents are required to attend the monthly president's meeting, be it resolved that lady presidents should also be included in those meetings. So amendments directly address Constitution. Resolutions is something that we see needs to be corrected or resolved. And then a proposal would be something that the government may not be aware of, and it's something new. Ross Marvin, you're not back yet? Did he drop off?
I'm here, President John. I'm
Okay.
listening.
I was trying to call on you earlier. Is it all right if I put your name in the submitter section with myself?
Of course.
Okay. So I already submitted this. We can make updates to it, but it is on the docket to be discussed at High Executive Council. Let me see. This would address Constitution, the full, the large Constitution. This is a deletion. And let me find the right page because I had the wrong page when we went over it. Okay, page 12. So if you've got your constitutions, page 12, we are looking at Article 3 of the Constitution. And President Ross, I did pretty much just a copy and paste of what we had previously and changed the dates from 2020 to 2024. So it states, Section 1, divisions in all kindred organizations, societies, and orders subordinate to the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League are entitled to representation in convention. Such divisions and societies sending a delegate or delegates who shall be named deputies is directed through the office of the President General. And we're also, with that, it would reinstate the terms of office. Section 2, each deputy shall hold office for 4 years after election, and his office shall be honorary with his expenses paid for attending convention by his own division. This is already in the Constitution. The issue is with the implementation of one man, one vote, the deputy system has been removed. So, right as you would like it to appear, Article 3 says divisions are entitled to representation in convention through delegates who shall have one vote in convention. Article 3 has been totally removed from our UNIA-ACL government and constitution from the last term of the Baye administration by the implementation of one man, one vote. Okay, so I guess it's got to be like that. Amendment. Space it. Division 421 suggests that we do the following two things during 2024 Executive Council meeting, April in Philadelphia. One, we must reinstate Article 3, Section 1 and Article 3, Section 2 of our government constitution. And two, Ross, do we still want to tie this to it? We must push back all deadlines relating to, this would be 2024 government elections, a minimum of 1 month's time span. So Ross, any updates, changes? One question, well, one When I brought this to the resolution committee, there was a question about how many delegates. They were asking, if we do go back to the delegate system, how many delegates? I told them that this amendment is not addressing how many delegates. We're just trying to go away from one man, one vote. We come back in the future to clarify the number of delegates. So, Ross Marvin, anything?
Yes, yes. What happened is that when this was struck down, where was that, a convention and so on?
Convention 2021.
It passed at the HEC, but then it was struck down at the convention. And the reason why they struck it down, one of the reasons I remember why they struck it down at the convention, they were saying because they didn't know how much delegates, therefore we can't do it.
Yep.
So we definitely have to address that in this resolution so that they can't say how much delegates. So it should be proportional base. If your division has 1,000 members, active members, then proportionally compared to a division that has 10 members. So a division that has 10 members, for every 10 active members, they get 1 delegate or 1 vote or whatever it is. So that is proportional. So that the divisions then that have more active members should have maybe 1 or 2 more delegates. But I was saying anything from 1 to 4 delegates, meaning that if you have 1 delegate, you have between 0 to 25 active members. 2 delegates, 25 to 50 active members. 3 delegates, 50 to 75 active members. And 4 delegates, 100 or more active delegates. That way the numbers stay simple. That's just a suggestion.
I like that. That makes a lot of sense. When we discussed it at committee, the original the committee thought or suggested 1 per 10, but I like your suggestion of 1 per 25 better.
Yeah, that way, if a division have hundreds and hundreds of members, if it's 1 per 10, then they're gonna have like 20, 30, 40 delegates. But I don't think that amount of delegates is gonna come to the convention.
Brother Eric, minimum is 7. Yes, that is correct. I think it was explained 0 to 25 would be 1 member. 25 to 50 would be 2 members. Well, not 0,
Delegates,
obviously.
2 delegates, I mean, not members.
Yeah, I'm sorry. 0 to 25 members in your division. Well, not 0, because 0 don't make sense. But 7 to 25 members in a division gets 1 delegate. 25 to 50 members in a division gets 2 delegates. 50 to 75 gets 3, and then 75 and up gets 4.
I think it was 100 and up.
So what was 1? How
So
many?
7 to 25 active members, they'll get 1 delegate. Then 26 to 50 active members, they'll get 2 delegates. And then 51 to 75 active members, they'll get 3 delegates. So you're right. So then 76 and above, they'll have 4 active delegates. 75 and more active members is 4 delegates.
I don't want the size to decrease, but okay.
Brother Eric was asking, is that how it is? Brother Eric, that's just a suggestion I'm making. But that's why I said in the beginning of the meeting, it's very important for all of us to give input. Because 9 heads is better than 1 head.
In regards to how it is now, that is described in general laws, Article 2, is where it starts. As a matter of fact, I'll just go to the Constitution. Give me a moment.
Right, because I remember the Constitution back in the days, in the 1920s, I think for every 500 active members, you had one delegate or two delegate. But we have to remember back in those days, the UNIA divisions had thousands of active members. New York was the biggest division, had over 40,000 active members in the New York division. And each division had active members into the thousand. So I think the Constitution might say something about every 500 members, you get another delegate. So that was when our numbers were in the millions.
Yeah. Article 1. Hold on, let me read this privilege on no other background. Officer, delegates. Okay, never mind. Here we go. Article 2 of the general law section. Election of deputies to convention. Hold on.
There it is, section 3.
Yeah. Section 3, each division and subordinate society shall send one deputy to convention, representative of each 1,000 members in good standing, but no division shall have more than 3 deputies.
Right, right. So it wasn't for one deputy or one delegate for every 500. It was one deputy or one delegate for every 1,000 members.
Yeah.
Because most of the divisions, their membership was into the thousands. But they said no more than 3. So
Right.
so what?
I like this. I like that cap.
Yeah. So we can still change up our numbers to fit within that cap.
Okay, I gotta say, what about from
1 to 30?
I say 7 to 50, you get 1. 50 to 100, you get 2, and if you got more than 100, you get 3.
Oh, that sounds good. Where that gonna leave us? Division 421.
Right now, we would be at 1, almost 2.
Well, we got to get to that too.
Yeah, we're right. Yeah, we're right there, and I think that just saying that makes me want to get more members.
Yeah, So
Let's
how
motivate.
y'all like that breakdown that President John just gave? I like it.
Brother Eric is going in on the chat. Cap scales well. I think said we aim for 250. We aim for 500. Is our minimum, is what we want. Okay, let me make that correction. So we say 7 to 50, you get 1. 50, 100, get 2, and then anything more than 100, you get 3.
Yeah, it's simpler and it's more straightforward. But we have to remove what it says at 2. We must push back because that was previous year.
Right. Okay.
Right. That wasn't for this year.
Okay.
I think that was during COVID.
Let's do the following thing.
But did we actually put what it said? Okay.
What do you mean?
Okay.
I'm trying to get another line. I don't know how I did that.
So would that be added to section 1 or section 2?
The numbers?
Yeah, the breakdown.
The numbers would go to section 2.
Section 2?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But nobody else responded. I think Brother Eric responded in the chat, but I didn't see it. Let me check out the chat. 'cause a
Well,
lot
we've
of-
been having a discussion. I don't think we've opened it up to the floor to have a response, honestly, to be fair.
No, but I asked everybody, what did they feel about what you just suggested? And nobody responded.
Okay, that's opening floor to the,
Yeah.
are we, well, should it start over for higher numbers? What do you mean, Brother Eric? I need you to get your mic right because you got a lot of questions and you're gonna be having me going back and forth. I don't know what you mean, Brother Eric. President Ross, do you think this is ready for vote for amongst our executive body?
Usually don't they have discussion before vote?
Yeah, but I felt like when we asked them if there's any question, that was opportunity for unreadiness. Any unreadiness?
If anybody's speaking, you're on mute.
And is everyone? Go ahead, brother.
Okay, if there are 1,000 members, so it's saying for every 1,000 members, we need to appoint. Old English is so hard to me sometimes.
It's not. Don't make it difficult. It's simple thing. That all they're saying is that in that section of the Constitution, for every 1,000 members, 1 delegate.
Yeah, it's
But that was back in the 20s when our membership was up into the millions. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, that was for what was happening in the 1920s, where New York was the biggest division. They had over 40,000 members. So they will have 40 delegates to the convention.
Oh, okay, but no more than 3 for every 1,000.
yeah,
Well, right.
no more than 3,
No more than-
period.
Period. So they didn't have more than 3.
Even if you got 10,000 members, you only got 3 delegates.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you can't have too many people make it.
Right. Well, and that's what we're saying now in our update, where we're saying 3 delegates for 100 or more active members, or no
3
more.
delegates.
Brother Sam,
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Mr. President?
greetings. Greetings, family. This is Brother Sam. I invited him to this meeting. Brother Sam, if you could please hold your questions.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's with me personally.
Yeah.
Brother Sam is I got to get him an application, get it filled out. He will be a member with us very soon, but he's a
Yes,
brother.
sir. Hey, how y'all doing? Shalom, everybody.
Hey, greetings, Brother Sam. Thank you for coming.
So I thought that was
Shalom.
Brother Macy's. Did you get your question answered?
Yeah. I guess so with the delegate system, when we get to convention, the goal is to make sure that every division has the same amount of people voting for each division. I guess the question is really, I'm trying to see the differences between this and one man, one vote, and I guess kind of
I can
guess
explain.
why this one is better than the other.
I can explain it, President John, or you can explain it.
No, you go ahead. I want you, please.
Right. As far as the first half of your question, you said every division gets same amount of vote. What it is every division gets proportionally the same amount based on the total number of active members. So if you're a division that had 125 active members, you'd have the most total 3 delegates. Compared to if you was a division that only had 25 active members, you'd only have 1 delegate. No, the second half of your question, comparing this to one man, one vote, what it is that with one man, one vote, only the people that make it to the convention floor can vote. So therefore, especially when it's election convention, and for the last 3 election conventions, now 2024, 2020, and 2016, they've all been in New York. And this is since we implemented as a government, one man, one vote in 2014, 2015. It was before the 2016 elections. But since we implemented one man, one vote, every election convention where we're voting for the president general, it's always been in New York. And therefore, New York has always controlled for the last 2, and that's going to be 3 election conventions for the last 12 years. New York has had the most amount of people who attend the convention. For instance, in 2016, they had over 50 people that voted for President General Duncan. Compared to Division 421, I think we only had 4 or 5 people that came to the convention. And the other divisions that weren't located in New York, from Chicago, and Chicago had a good representation. I think they had about 20 people. But the bottom line is, when you have one man, one vote, and you have to appear at the convention to be able to vote for the president general, the highest position in our government, that means that whichever city hosts the convention is going to be the city or the division that determines who's the president general. So that's not how our ancestors established the government. That's why the Article 3, Section 1 and 2 was very important. And it's never been changed since the government been formed. And first time was changed was 2014 to one man, one vote. So we all can see clearly that that's not fair, because that means that members in Atlanta and Los Angeles and outside the United States who are dues paying members cannot vote for the president general or for the for the 5 positions that are being voted on this year at the convention floor. But yet we still have to pay dues. So to re-implement the delegate system is going to be a fairer way to vote for the president general, instead of one city controls who gets to be the president general. The delegates system now, therefore the voting is more distributed to the divisions based upon the number of members, active members that the division have. So anybody can see clearly that one system is not fair to the majority of divisions and members of the UNIA, because it's basically taxation. We're paying assessment and we're paying dues, but yet we can't vote for the highest position in our government. So it's taxation without representation. And the other system, one man, one vote, completely favors the host division in determining who's the leader of our government.
Okay, definitely. I did. I had one more question.
But do you understand why
Yes,
the difference between the two?
yes,
Okay.
I do understand how it could definitely create a discrepancy by having a flood of members coming from your city just to come and vote, basically, because it's you at home, like a home court advantage type of thing.
Exactly.
They create. Yeah, my memory's kind of just gone. I know they had an amendment about online voting. I can't remember how that went.
Hold off on that, brother.
I'm not President John.
That's the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's our next proposal. So that's the backup plan.
Okay. I got you. All right.
Was that your second question?
Yeah, that was my second question about online voting as a solution. Yeah.
Yes, that's another proposal.
No, Brother Amasis, I want to just big you up, because that was a very important question you asked, because maybe there might be other officers who's wondering the same thing, and what was the benefit of it and the difference between the two. So I'm glad
Sir.
to put that discussion.
Is everyone else comfortable with what has been presented? Does everyone understand what's the highest member count present day? Great. Any other Brother Mason, you good before we move?
Oh, yes.
Any other questions on this amendment proposal? Amendment. Yeah, proposed amendment, it's better. Any unreadiness? I think, well, I don't, yeah, we gotta get, that's another proposal I'm gonna talk about, but we'll talk about it later. Any unreadiness before we proceed?
So one thing I wanted to, is the distinction or between deputy and delegates, does it mean the same thing?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I, so.
So let me go to Constitution and make that clear. That is in, I believe it's in Article 3, section, it's in Article 3. Let's see. I believe it's still there. Let's see. Chancellor. No, article. 5. I just saw 4. That's 4. 3. Deputies to convention, delegates to convention, divisions of all kindred organized societies, Universal Negroes, such divisions and societies sending a delegate or delegates who shall be named deputies.
Okay,
Same thing here, must send delegate or delegates to represent, well, it looks like they took out deputies, and it's just delegates,
okay.
according to 2005. But in the original Constitution, delegate and deputies were defined as each other. So that it used to be deputies to convention. Looks like we took out the deputies part and we just call it delegates to convention as of 2005.
So then we probably should, what does the update of 2005 say for Article 3, Section 1 and 2? Does it say remove delegates? I mean deputies, and then put it in delegates?
It removes the association with delegates and deputies. So in the previous Constitution, it said such divisions and societies sending a delegate or delegates who shall be named deputies.
Okay,
As directed through the Office of President General. Now it just says division societies must send a delegate or delegates to represent their division.
okay, I didn't know that was Article 3 that you was reading. So therefore, I like using delegates instead of deputies. Is our amendment in line with delegates, or does it
Yes.
bring back deputies?
Delegates.
Okay, delegates, okay, yes, all good.
Yeah. Okay, let me take out deputies. Delegates.
Is this they sent this form, President?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm trying to work in the form.
I see.
Oh my God. Don't tell me I can't undo. Okay, see, we gotta just find it. All right, so it says divisions and all kindred organizations and societies subordinate to the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League are entitled to representation in convention. Such divisions and societies must send a delegate or delegates to represent their respective divisions. Are we good?
Yeah.
And then the terms, okay, hold on, wait, we got deputy again. Okay, so All right, I just got to get the 2005. So we had the 1938, which I actually prefer, but we refer to 2005.
Right, because we don't want to change more than, we just want to change Article 3, not everything else.
All right, the term of each delegate shall expire at the close of convention. Local division may assist with delegate expenses. He or she shall be entitled to one vote in convention, and no proxy vote shall be allowed. So that takes away the proxy vote discussion as well. Any questions? We're talking about anything but 7 to 50 members for a division gets one delegate. 51 members to 100 members gets two delegates. Over 100 members, they get three delegates.
That's good.
After
guess-
1,000 members, it should scale to something 1 per 250. I got you, brother Eric. We can come back to that when we as divisions start hitting 250, 500, we can make those adjustments. But we're kind of sticking to the original Constitution. The original Constitution stated even if you had over 1,000 members, the maximum number of delegates you could have is 3.
To vote, correct, President?
To vote on convention or executive council floor.
Gotcha. Vice versa.
Any questions or comments on this proposal before we vote on it? Amendment.
Yeah, I got a question.
Brother Art.
This whole proposal was brought up because we're trying to rectify the home city from having the majority of the votes, right?
In a sense.
Okay, well, if the divisions don't have an equal amount of delegates, then who the division that has the most people is going to have the most votes, right?
Yes.
So it's the same thing to me. Race first.
Understand, but we're talking about a maximum of 3 votes for a division. So if one division has 3 votes, 3 or 4 divisions have 2 votes, it doesn't become, currently we have it to where the local team has a very much a lot of power in regards to the number of delegates that other divisions can send versus the number of delegates that can attend locally. There's a large disparity in that representation. So limiting that to have a more balanced approach, we feel gives us more of a fighting chance to have resolutions and proposals approved. I put it that way politically.
And also I'll add, if a division was doing the work and they had 65 members or they had 125 members, I think they should get rewarded for doing that work and having that amount of active members. Because I would say the average amount of members, if you take all the divisions and average the total amount of members, and the average how much members will be in each division, I could be wrong, but my estimate would be probably in the 20s.
Yeah, at least under 50.
Yeah, under 50 at least.
Yeah, but if every division had the same amount of delegates, it would be balanced, right? I mean,
no, it wouldn't be balanced, because then a division that only have 7 active members will have the same voting power as a division that has 100 active members.
Yeah.
And if each of those division only had 1 delegate, that wouldn't be balanced.
Yeah, that's too much power for lack of actual membership. The one is just representation.
Okay. Race first.
Race first.
But that's really what it's going to come down to. Many divisions with one, maybe two, and then one or two divisions with three. But three will be very rare. But it'll at least motivate us to get there.
That's right.
How many, Ms. President, how many, what's the division over us?
We're Atlanta.
So we're Atlanta,
Yeah.
but it's a national UNIA.
Yes. Yes. It's a parent body. It's a leadership body out of New York.
So we listen to them.
They are a leadership. We still have autonomy within our jurisdiction, but from an aspect of organization, that is our leadership.
Yeah, if something changes, then we change with it.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Well, we become the change we want to see, and that's what we're doing right here, Brother Sam. This sometimes they can imply suggestions, but those suggestions aren't constitutionally correct. So when we want to put things on the table, this is how we constitutionally do it the right way.
Ashe, Lady President.
I'd like to put this up for a vote. That's why we proposals and stuff. Yeah, proposal. Yes. That's why we do this, Brother Eric. But I vote that I recommend that we, put this on the table for a vote.
I second it.
Who supports, who supports this as an amendment for High Executive Council?
I support it.
Yeah, I support them.
Ross Marvin supported.
The president supports it, and this is so that so many votes won't be from one division.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
in addition, to restore what our ancestors had established from the beginning.
Race first.
Brother Eric, Sister Diane, Brother Art, I think I heard your comments. Dr. Kuda, I'd like to get your
I
comments.
support. Yes, I
support it.
support it.
Thank you.
So I got a question, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
When like being in the Army, if I could describe it, it sounds like my first sergeant used to have the right to my first sergeant or my captain used to have the right to tell each troop how to do what they were doing, and I think it was about 20 different troops, and each one of them had a first sergeant and a captain.
Mhm.
Then when it went from those 20 positions or troops, which had, like I said, a captain and a first sergeant, it went to 5 brigade leaders, which would be the chamber over us. Which would that be the national chamber, or would the chamber be like the eastern border chamber? We got a central chamber and a western chamber, or is it just one big national chamber?
No, there are districts. We are part of the Southeast District, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida.
Yeah. Okay. So then from the district over us, it'll report higher to another. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question. Is there any objection to this proposal? I believe Sister Diane. Sister Diane, did you comment?
I have not.
What do
I hopped on a little late.
Do you have any concerns, comments, questions?
Well, I mean, we don't know what's gonna, we don't know until we put these things forth and we'll see what happens, we don't know how favorable, what I'm trying to say, we don't know how favorable they're gonna be to our suggestions, but we will never know if we never put them forth. So, yeah.
This is a vote time. We're voting. because we're presenting this as an amendment.
Oh,
So,
I got you. So I say yay,
okay, that's what
Okay.
we
put
want.
it through.
What's your vote?
Yes.
That sounds like a unanimous yes. So we will lock this in as an updated amendment. And I'll update the date when I send it out. Okay, that takes care of that one. We spent the hour on one. Let's try to get the next one. It's not it. I was gonna say it's more straightforward, but it's not. Actually, this one is probably more complicated. So y'all can see the screen. Ross Marvin, you got me. You got my back on this one too.
On all of
Electronic
them.
voting.
On all of them, but I think we had said the executive is even, that has a stronger back than my back.
Well, they haven't read it, so they can't,
Yeah.
can't support it. That would be dishonest. All right. This is a resolution for electronic voting for all dues paying members. So if we do wish to have a true one man, one vote, then let's do it electronically. Let's allow members, to vote and to have their voices heard, no matter where they are. That is the proposal in general. I do have some whereases, and I guess y'all can check my whereases and make sure I might have been emotional when I was doing this. It's a lot of writing. It says, whereas in the original UNIA-ACL Constitution, divisions were entitled to representation in convention through delegates. These delegates were individuals that showed, quote, special qualities of interest in uplifting the race, end quote, and were required to be elected by their local divisions to be their representatives in convention. Whereas the entitlement of divisions to convention through delegates has been replaced by the entitlement of individuals present at convention, thereby giving the false impression that convention elections represent the opinion of our people globally. Whereas the rights of quote unquote active members include the right to run for office and the privilege of being the first to receive charity from the UNIA, it should be the right to vote as well. The rights of quote unquote active membership also includes the right to vote. In the year 2024, the government of UNIA has a responsibility to secure a more inclusive voting process, is what I said. Whereas previous attempts to investigate online voting may not have been successful, we would like to understand how much funding was provided through the Office of the Parent Body to support this research. What modern examples were provided as examples of electronic voting? How many people were included in the original committee? And how many of those members are still active in the UNIA-ACL? And be it resolved, the government of the UNIA-ACL, on behalf of its members, has a responsibility to contribute to investigate how to expand the concept of one man, one vote beyond the limitations of those able to attend convention through the implementation of online voting. We propose the urgent reactivation of the committee to investigate online electronic voting. We further propose that committee be sufficiently staffed and funded per the recommendations of the committee chair. So that's what I was able to put together off the top of my head. I don't really like it much when I read it back, but
I think
thoughts?
you did a good job, President John. The only thing I would probably say to take out is the part where we have question marks, because then that's gonna make it a discussion piece. And we don't wanna make it a discussion piece. We wanna say, this is what it is, and this is what we're gonna vote on.
Okay. Do you understand? Well, my line of questioning was, I don't feel that the previous committee was supported. I believe it was an idea that was presented. It wasn't supported by the leadership, and they deemed it a failure, and we shouldn't look at it anymore. So I was questioning how it was supported.
Right. I just didn't want to open any windows so they can bring up that discussion and
Okay.
but it's good thing then, if they were to bring up this discussion, these would be the questions that's being asked.
Ah, I mean, is there any way to state that? If can I just state that we don't believe that the previous committee was properly supported to
Through
be
A, B, C,
successful?
and D. Yes, I think it would be better not to put it as a question because
Okay.
that might delay the process because then they're gonna want to respond.
Right, give him an answer. Don't give him nothing to lead off of.
Exactly. So this is what
Make
we want.
that we're not confident in what we're saying.
Yeah, so make it a statement instead of a question.
Shay, Ashay.
We did not believe previous electronic voting committee was properly supported. Properly supported to be successful.
Those points that you had in there before President John was good. We just had to make them statements instead of questions. Because he had identified how it wasn't properly supported. Or we didn't get any information on that aspect, but anyway.
Got some questions in the chat. What is the first voting type that comes to mind because there are not yet applied examples of electronic voting is worth being an example. We've used jot form for our division. Brother Macias, I don't know if he's still here.
Yeah. Yeah, and Secretary General used it as well. She was we had where each local division, most of the local divisions went through a training to create an online voting profile about a year and a half back. Because they did approve it for local divisions to have electronic voting in their local elections. So we did a training where a lot of the presidents came on the call and walked them through setting up electronic voting. So I'm not sure on why we can't do it for the. I thought it was passed. That's why I was trying to get further clarity. My question earlier is, I thought they already approved electronic voting for. So I was trying to get clarity on that.
To my understanding, they approved it to be I thought you were on that committee, honestly, Brother Macias. But they approved it to be researched going into, well, I know that it came up in Atlanta this past year. And
Yes.
and the comments that I remember hearing was the leadership had looked at it. Whatever committee was assembled was not successful at bringing examples that that were approved, and they deemed that effort a failure. And we should not look at it any further. That was my understanding.
I have a question for both our presidents, President Ross, President John, Brother Macy's. So if it was deemed like what you just said, it wasn't written properly or something that isn't executed properly. So wouldn't it be different from a different execution? If it's written properly or a different standpoint of what you're trying to present, wouldn't that count as
yes, but I feel it has to be proposed that way.
So I'm saying what?
I think we're doing that with the resolution.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a topic that we have to continue to bring up. I think Brother Anthony out of Chicago was the one that sponsored that proposal. He was supposed to be, I think he was supposed to be on well, anyway, committee will meet again Monday. Secretary General, obviously, they're in the same division. So I'm expecting to see that from Chicago again as well. So that I think that would be a proposal where we can work together and have, you know, joint effort. Any other questions on electronic voting? Yeah, more information on what happened last time.
I just want to comment what Brother Eric just said. Brother Eric, yeah. And even with like certain job trainings with my staffing agency, my clients use Kahoot to train. Like they refer me to train people with Kahoot. So yeah, definitely.
It's not that bad. And like I said, it's not like we have thousands of members that we're trying to verify. We're talking about, you know, 30, 40, maybe 50 members of each division. So, and that's active. All right. If there aren't any other questions, then I propose this for a vote. Let's move forward.
Second, I support it.
All right, I heard that was like a second.
President John,
Yes.
what Brother Macis just met, First VP President Macis, Vice President Macis just mentioned was very important, that it's been approved by the Secretary General to be used locally in divisions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should pick up from there.
So whereas
That could be another whereas. Whereas it's been approved, online voting has been approved by our Secretary General to be used in divisions.
we're gonna call out Secretary General specifically.
Yeah.
That's what the basis
I
said.
don't think,
We're gonna say other divisions.
yeah, I don't know if I think he got approved. I know she went through the training. I'm not saying she.
We can say the office of the Secretary General.
No, we're not about to do that. It don't sound like we clear on what we're saying, and I gotta represent this.
Yeah, I'm not sure when the approval was. That's where I'm unclear at, when the approval was. So I don't want to put it out there that it was through her. I just know that it got approved and she was doing the training. But I'm not saying she approved it. I'm not.
Was it approved and it wasn't posted like something like how it was last night? The proposal that was put in the Constitution, even though it wasn't voted on, is it that type of situation?
So I know, like President John said earlier, the brother from Chicago brought it up at last year HEC.
Yeah.
I didn't go to convention, so I'm not sure what happened at convention. But I know, if
You
I'm not
were
mistaken,
last year.
President John wasn't brought up the year before. Say again.
I said you were at HEC last year. It was in Atlanta.
I said convention. I didn't go to convention. I didn't go to convention in Curacao, Venezuela. But it's from my memory serves correctly, that was the second year in a row it got brought up. So I believe it was the year before that. But I'm sorry, like I cannot remember clearly, and I don't have any of my notes around me from those last meetings.
It keeps coming up, and we just have to focus on our proposal, and I'll get it in front of the committee. Like I said, if Brother Anthony or any other divisions have a similar proposal, we can all just kind of support whichever one is the best one. We just have to make sure we continue to bring it up. So vote is on the floor. Can everybody give their opinion, please?
I'm in support.
Thank you.
Support.
First Vice President.
Yes.
Brother Art, Brother Malik. Thank you. Lady President.
First. Absolutely.
Sister Diane. Lady First. Oh,
Yes, yes.
Brother Eric. Dr. Kuda has already said she's good. Brother Eric, any questions, comments, concerns? It need to be moved to something we are in control of down the line. Of course. But right now, tomorrow, we need to be electronic. But you're right. Okay. All right. Well, we got two ready to go. Let me go. Let me go back to my PowerPoint. All right, it took us an hour and 15 minutes to get through those two. But like I said, we got 1 and 2 ready to go. Some other things that I was going to try to knock out quickly, I didn't get a chance to put together formally, but I do want to propose. Sister Mukaraba has been trying to get the age of proxy vote down from 75 to 60. I think we can do 75 to, I don't even know. They might be like, yo, that's too old, but I don't know. I recommend 75 to 70. Propose that as an amendment and hopefully get some support from Detroit in the process. Also, they had a recommendation that included physically incapacitated individuals being allowed to send absentee votes. So we want to help them with that amendment as well. Other than that, floor is kind of open. Floor is kind of open. I kind of want to know what y'all thought. These are some notes that I had put together.
Do you know if Detroit Division is presenting that reduce the age of the proxy vote? Are they presenting amendment to that?
She has not yet. And Monday was the extended deadline. We extended to the 31st. I'm concerned that she's probably gonna go to the last minute.
I have a question, and I don't want to throw everybody off, but is there a way that we can't communicate with other divisions about what they're bringing to HEC, can we? It's like,
Of course you can.
Yeah, we can.
That's politics.
Yes.
so I'm saying, like, how do we go, do we go about that? Do we create a meeting, or do like one of us just like champion that and just check in with each division just to see where we're all standing together? So we don't be like stepping on each other's toes or, running into the same thing.
A meeting is not a bad idea. It's a good idea.
Okay, continue. We'll talk about it later. I just wanted to put that seed up. Race
I
first.
just want to add a comment to that, Lady President.
We say, Brother Ross, I say it one more
I
time.
just wanted to add a little things to what you just said.
Okay, no problem.
In actuality, the president's meeting is the purpose of that,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But in actuality, I think we're not free to, we don't have the control over the agenda. Isn't the agenda for the president's meeting set by
the President General, by President Duguay, and that's
he sticks to the agenda and he really don't give.
he doesn't give anybody time to talk. He kind of does what he says, and he brushes everybody else from on out. So I mean,
so what we did about 3 or 4 years ago, I think it was 2018 or 2019, we had like about 8 to 10 divisions meeting because there were certain things the leadership was doing that that's when they put out a lot of the elders and so on, and the divisions started meeting, presidents of the divisions started meeting, and what happened is that after we came together collectively to present a resolution to our leadership, it wasn't accepted, and our leadership removed several people from office because they felt that we were plotting against them. So that was the last time when the presidents did get together and meet without the parent body, like how you had suggested just a second ago. So, but that can always be started again. And either way, whether if it's somebody from our division reaching out to somebody from their division, I think you'd be pretty good for that, Lady President, reaching out and seeing. But yeah, there should be some kind of process where we don't have to present similar resolutions 3 and 4 times from 3 or 4 different divisions, but where we could collaborate and get one. But things are difficult in this time, but that's how we have to get better to that level, Lady President, within the upcoming years.
Oh, couple years, Jesus Christ! Don't do me like. Don't say oh, couple years. We trying to work it out now. Question though.
Well, okay.
Just for the sake of protecting the mannerism or the character of Division 421 in going about this, is it like, could we just like, it's how we come about it, right? I mean, like my grandma used to tell me, it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. Not about what you do, it's how you do it. So it's like, could we just, I mean, invite Secretary General like we've been doing for the Constitution, and then like have a soft Constitution meeting right before the submission? I mean, can we just call it like proposal discussion or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Nothing too harmful, nothing too offensive, just something just saying that we want to just everyone to have a conversation about their proposals and resolutions before everyone turns them in type, just something innocent.
I think that's the purpose of the resolution committee that President John is on, and I think he might be leading it, so that all the divisions who have resolution present it. And I know that, Lady President, you probably could be on it. I don't know if it's too late for you to be on that committee. That way you can vent it out. But I think, isn't that the job of the resolution committee, President John?
I would argue so. Lady President, you're right, but you got to understand, as you've said, you you got to have a whisper campaign, and that's what that's what the Constitution class has been.
Yeah.
We present a certain thing, we go over a certain thing, but we also use it as an opportunity to address, questions that we have in regards to the Constitution and proposals, and encourage other divisions to be involved in the process. As a member of the committee, we have 4 proposals on the table. There are only 5 proposals on the table total. So it's not much, I'm not exactly sure what everybody is doing. And your comment does make sense. Maybe we need to have a class around it, but I would argue that's the best that we are doing right now is through the Constitution class.
Okay. So I wasn't necessarily referring to as like a class or anything, but for instance, the Constitution, the Constitution course or whatever. In that Constitution course, like after, like just say next Tuesday. Next Tuesday isn't it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Dang. So I mean,
We ran out of time.
yeah. So Sunday evening, I mean, I'm just saying, could we just like it could be a Constitution meeting. Like we could just call it a Constitution meeting, and then we could just go over our proposals together. You know what I'm saying? But it still can be called a Constitution meeting. You know what I'm saying? But we're just in that Constitution meeting. The agenda is proposal reviews from each division. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have to, it doesn't have to be so threatening, or we could be as less threatening as possible. But we should call an early Constitution meeting either Saturday or so. This is because of the day of submission. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like late in the game, honestly.
I know.
Okay, I yield, Brother Macy.
Lady President,
Oh,
how our
Brother
government is
President.
established, Lady President, is
I'm
that,
sorry, Brother Ross. Could you say that one more time?
yeah, I think because it's late in the game, the best way to go about it is through the structure of how our government is established. How our government is established, that structure is that divisions present the resolutions and the amendments. So as President John said, they have about 5 different resolutions that was presented. How much divisions presented resolutions that you have, President John?
Just 2.
Just 2. But what I want y'all to understand is that what we're doing right now, most of the UNIA divisions ain't doing it. I would say only Chicago, and who else, President John?
Maybe someone having a small meeting. What you think?
So most divisions
Not say that.
don't present resolutions or amendments at HEC.
Right.
Only few divisions that are organized. And that's why 421 can do this, because we're more organized than some of the divisions. So for the structure, for where we are now in the structure, I think it's just best to go along at the late hour with making sure that we as a division put it in our resolutions.
Yes.
I
I
say
second
amen.
that, yeah. And yeah, we're doing the best that we can by leading by example. You know, other divisions can be proposing constitution meetings, proposal meetings. You know, it doesn't always have to be 421. So, but based on being on the committee, like I said, there's only one proposal that has come up outside of Atlanta.
Race first, and I guess in essence of that, in harmony with that, I guess we could pin that for next year.
Definitely.
And we can make sure that we are all on
How,
board.
how we pin it for next year is that those people who go to the HEC get contacts from
Yeah.
brothers and sisters in other divisions, so that we can start building the conversation from now.
That's
But
what
but you know what? We can't overlook convention. When we come out of HEC, we're gonna switch, you know, to start thinking about convention and Garvey Day, of course.
So
But
we need to do it this year, not next year.
exactly. I was just about to say all of this is just preparatory for next year. So like, thank you, President Ross, for that. Thank you for the alignment. But just as we're just going to go in preparation for what we want to do in the future. We're building this year, so next year, years to come, we can have those stepping stones to continue. Okay.
Lady President, I also want to let you know that I have the contacts to a lot of the different divisions, whether presidents or members and thing. So whenever you're ready, you can reach out to me, or we can get together and I know President John has them too. We can make sure that if this is something that you'd like to spearhead to bring the divisions together, we can give you the contact information for those people to get in contact with at the different divisions.
We'll definitely discuss that on the Thursday meeting, because that's kind of like a big topic for me. So
we won't be able to get everything in order for.
Well, this is like,
yeah,
not convention wise, but like
no, not HEC wise, but maybe convention.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right.
Okay, we gotta proceed. It's 9:25. I got about 10 more minutes. But we got our main priorities. I've been keeping a list of some things that we have discussed as a body, as well as some things that I've had personally amongst myself. I think one of the big ones that we've discussed over the past is individuals like Brother Umar Johnson and others, but ones that we have been told that we should not work with and support from our leadership, but we have a personal, local, good relationship with certain individuals. So, did we still want to have some formal proposal on who we can and can't work with? Yeah.
I do, President, and I say that because I don't want we as a division, as a people, shouldn't be blindsided. So just in case, just say for instance, we don't present this at HC or whatever, and they do, you know. So I think that we should. I mean, he should be an example, but I think that we should, definitely exercise our freedom of speech for who we choose to. That's a Negro. As long as we're in compliance of the Constitution, there shouldn't be anybody, that should hold us back from being our featured guest or a member for that.
And I didn't want to, focus on Brother Umar. There are other individuals in alignment with what we would consider other organizations or other representations of Mr. Garvey that we may have a cordial relationship as well. One is even a dues paying member. So it's not just about this one brother, but we do need to understand this policy of who is not in good standing and quote unquote expelled and should not be worked with by any division. I think that needs to be made clear personally.
And President, as well, the steps and procedures of how it should be executed should be in this proposal as well, because that's important too. They made that comment on the Constitution call last night. So that is another reason how stuff get knocked off the ballot, because it's not proposed correctly. So how we want to see it is how we need to write it. So I don't know, we should just throw something together, because we need to put it in writing how we envision what we want to see. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
And we don't have to necessarily put, we make the statement, but have them as the objectives. You see what I'm saying? Like Dr. Who, my brother Golden, and whoever in the division, who, you know what I'm saying? Because we technically don't have a list. You know what I'm saying? They were supposed to propose a list so we can, at least dispute the names on the list. But we don't know what they're feeling emotionally. And, we don't know how their emotions will change. So, it's really not necessary. I don't even know if it's even necessary to even name names. I mean, you can give examples, but I don't know if they want, use those examples against us. So I think it's better just to say what we want, and in the description of how we want it presented.
Yes, this would be a principal discussion, not a personal or individual. So anyone else that want to give it?
Yes, Lady President, what you've said is very important, but what happened is that what we got to realize is that how this gets written out properly, as you mentioned, is that somebody's going to have to write it. And I don't want to put it all on President John, because that's what is being done. No, I was wondering, Lady President, could you put it together, and where it has that whereas, and where what we put into whereas is what the Constitution says, that we should be building a universal confraternity, and other things what the Constitution says, that we should deal with African people and everything else. So somebody got to put it together, and I don't want to put it on President John, because his plate is already full.
I mean,
you mentioned two of them, Lady President. So if you can jot down the two of them, that would be good. Or if you can do one.
But to tell you something, let me tell you something. I'm from the South, as many of us are. And I've been told a closed mouth does not get fed. So if you need, the Bible says ye have not because ye ask not. So
okay, we're asking.
You are. Thank you, President Ross, for asking. But I would love for other people to initiate the asking. Just saying, race first.
How does ask so Lady President can deal with the case?
If you could forward me the forms, because I didn't even know we had forms. I thought it was old school. So you can forward me the forms. I don't know if I have them in my email or not, but you can forward me the forms. I'll put my thoughts on them and I will send them to President John. If President John, if you could revise and just, give a final, read through before we send them off.
What we really got to do is have the executive vote on it. So after President John puts his...
Or if Vice President Brother Macy's is not busy, because he is business chairman. If he's not too busy, I could forward them to him. And if he's okay with it, if y'all are okay with this, because I know it has to go through channels. So
right. So the channels that it have to go through is, once President John okayed, if he could send it out by email to the executive officers and they respond that they approve, so that way we'll still be voting on it, but we don't have to get to it in another meeting.
Wait.
I don't know.
So you want me to write it?
Anybody but President
everybody
John.
can take his turn. Sis Diane, since she's like,
I'll do it. I got it. I write it.
That's my leadership.
Listen. Sis Diane, I know she was trying to chime in. I couldn't.
Okay. Chime in.
Wait, give me a second. I'm saying everybody could chime in on this. You see what I'm saying? I don't have to do all work. Neither does President John. We all the leaders in this room. Everybody is. Everybody resolution. You see what I'm saying?
Actually, because you had so much passion about it, and you kind of knew exactly how it wanted to go.
Oh, I ain't saying nothing. But I'm always passionate about my people. I'm always passionate about the works. So that's always, it's gonna be forever. But I'm saying at the same time, we ain't gotta fight over work. This is a lot. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Vice President.
We still need one person to put it together and then share it with the president, and the president share it with everybody else by email. This is the last hour, because as
and if y'all want to have a work
session,
if y'all want to have a work session, if y'all want to have a resolution.
Thank you, First VP.
I'll put it together. I'll give everybody a draft, and we'll go from there.
Right.
All right. I got you.
We have to vote on it by email, everybody, because we're not going to be able to physically meet again.
President Ross, may I speak?
Yes.
First and foremost, my young leaders, I'm very disappointed in you. The fact that we had to have this type of discussion. We should be willing to step up and look at these opportunities as opportunity for leadership. To make things simple, you know, you do this long enough, you start to expect certain things. I've already done the resolution. One question that I will have is what I'm calling it. I call it a white list. Um, it's a take on what Mr. Garvey taught in the course of African philosophy. The concept of a blacklist is a bad thing. Let's preserve that, and if we're going to have a bad thing, let's call it white. Clarification of Negroes, quote unquote, African support and or work with to build the universal confraternity of the UNIA-ACL per the number one aim of the government and actions required by these individuals to be in good standing if possible. Hold on, let me see. I may need to reword that. Whereas divisions have been notified that there are Africans we should not work with or support, whereas divisions are encouraged to organize and increase membership of UNI-ACL by hosting events and developing partnerships with other individuals and organizations, particularly quote-unquote race-first organizations. During December 2023, President's Call UNI leadership notified division presidents that there are some individuals that we should not be working with and supporting. Also, during our January 2024 President's Call, the sentiment to not work with and or support certain Africans was reinforced. So I don't say anyone's names. Whereas it is currently possible to engage in discussions and or support Africans that are not quote unquote approved or in quote unquote good standing out of pure ignorance. That's probably a harsh, statement, but because the identity of all the individuals has not been made clear to UNI-ACL membership, be it resolved that the government of the UNI-ACL on behalf of its members document a list of Negroes, Africans that are not in quote unquote good standing with the UNI-ACL or have been expelled from the UNI-ACL, make space, and make it clear that these individuals should not be supported or engaged with. And we would also request that the violations of each of these individuals made clear, as well as required corrective actions for each of these individuals to be returned to quote unquote good standing if possible. So that's the statement that I put together so far.
Yeah, it's really confusing, why people are whitelisted, or we're
That's
talking a race first, and every even the definition of who's a member. So like even with Brother Umar's situation, I was thinking because we didn't really get all the details. We just get like little bits and pieces that didn't have a definitive clarification as to what the offense was. But I started thinking, because I haven't watched anything really that Dr. Umar put out as of lately, but on some of the things he put out, he's pretty vocal about any and everybody, sometimes even government officials. So I'm wondering if the organization is afraid that he's representing UNIA and that's why they want to back off of him. Maybe he talks too much about too much. That's like a guess, because we don't really have a definitive reason and that even the other day when we were talking about the other fellow in Jamaica, we don't really know. I mean, should we just take the definition good standing and leave it alone, or should we question what the violations are so that we can ourselves avoid these things that would cause us to not be in good standing or be expelled? Or I don't know. That probably sounds like a bunch of ramble, but there's just a little lack of clarification to me, it seems like.
Understand. But that is what well, the intent with this resolution is specifically to create a list of the individuals that we are not supposed to work with and what their violations are. I'd like to be clear on what these individuals did in order to be expelled from the organization. To my knowledge, you know, if you're not a thief or traitor or you know, a rich African that marries a poor Caucasian, there are grounds for forgiveness, to my knowledge. So I'm trying to get to that level.
Okay.
Any questions on our proposal for a list of these individuals, to make that clear?
So no, I object. I don't think that we should be. It's like we're asking permission. Like, okay, who should we not? And it's making them generate a thought to who and what, you know, and it's like giving them time to generate that list. So in my defense, I feel as though we should just already defend the fact that we represent the preamble, and in the preamble it states that we should be able to, we are to be welcoming to our fellow Negro brothers and sisters.
Okay, valid.
And they could also put things that would constitute violation, as opposed to, like Lady President is saying, not listing individual names, but put a list of things. I mean, I guess the
No,
Constitution should have them, but if we look at it that way and said, okay, what on the list did Brother Umar violate? You know, if we put a list of violations,
well,
I don't know.
I believe Lady President is saying no list, correct, Lady President? That's not important.
No list, but list the violations, what would amount to a violation.
I think that's clear in the Constitution, and
Yeah,
that's mention those things. If these individuals haven't committed these things, I need to their status is questionable to me. That was my point.
I think,
But go ahead, Ross Marvin.
I think what the parent body is saying is that anybody who's with RC 2020, or anybody who's with Cleo Miller, or anybody who's not with us is all banned.
Pretty much, but that's a lot of people.
But if it's not, if it's not, is that in the Constitution that we shouldn't deal with these people?
No, it's not.
That's the point.
Unless they have breached certain violations. Some I think are questionable in regards to theft and some legal actions, but I think some of it is personal.
Which papers, and we should also imply which documentation should be generated for such accusations. That should be implied in that.
I got you.
I know it's past 10 minutes, and President John, you said you're gonna have to leave.
Yeah, you know, we got 5 minutes, but you know, I want to get everybody's.
Did the first lady Amasis have a proposal?
If you have, I'm gonna say I could continue the meeting if people got time.
You gonna how you gonna you got your laptop?
See, that's what I'm saying. What's
You got the file.
what you saying, President? Okay,
That's
but listen,
that's a laptop. That's all. Because you got.
I'm saying, I don't have. That's like the only thing I don't. I want to continue this, but I don't have that document, and I don't want to, you know, waste people's time by just trying to, you know, I don't know.
Brother Mason, you there?
Yeah, mine pretty short. I mean, I think mine pretty straightforward. I mean, I think we can get it done in a couple minutes,
Let's go.
in my opinion.
My apologies for overlooking that.
Brother Macy's, are you on a laptop or are you on your device?
Not with my phone.
Okay.
Let me see. Born to lead. Let me see. Okay, Untitled.
I'm just saying, got to read the whole thing.
And this is a resolution for HEC?
Yes.
The
be voted on.
To be in the right format.
Brother Macy's, have you, Brother Macy's, have you received a resolution form, a proposal form for the trust?
Nah, I didn't get a form, but but it's in the format. You know, got the whereas. You can just copy and paste it right into the form.
Y'all didn't get the form
Right there.
I was just asking if you had the form. I understand.
No, I don't have the form.
Okay.
Let me get the phone.
Let's jump into it.
So, okay, all right. I tell you what, brother Mason, if you don't
Let's,
mind,
let's jump into it real quick.
I would just say, brother Mason, if you don't mind, would you want to work together real quick and just complete a couple of resolutions?
I'm saying it's already done. It's already in the format already. We just got to
Not
jump
just
into it.
that one, not just that one.
Oh, you say complete more? I
Yeah,
mean, I don't mind doing the work, but I mean, let's get it done on this call. We talk about that off the call list.
I'm asking.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking you. That's what I'm asking. Okay, race first. Continue, President. Let's continue. Go ahead. Let's do this.
Brother Macy's, you have the floor.
All right. Title of the resolution to establish a real estate investment trust for Universal Negro Improvement Association African Communities League. Whereas Universal Negro Improvement Association African Communities League aims to promote economic empowerment and self-sufficiency among its members worldwide, and whereas the establishment of a real estate investment trust will provide a centralized platform for the members to combine assets for governance purposes and to foster economic growth in the community. And therefore, be it resolved that a real estate investment trust shall be re-established under the auspices of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, African Communities League. Purpose of the REIT shall be to create borders to demonstrate governance with each individual home or commercial property, presenting a border for our nation. A nation is not a nation without any borders, so that's why that was there. The pooled assets within the REIT shall be used to invest in future business endeavors within the community, fostering entrepreneurship and economic development, leveraging the equity. The creation of the REIT shall lead to the generation of employment opportunities within the community, including but not limited to roles such as property managers, maintenance staff, real estate agents, administrative personnel, and construction workers. The REIT will create an investor mindset within our members that fosters increasing investment within each other. Division 421 submitting this resolution for open discussion and amendment at the upcoming HC Council Conference in spring to be voted on for potential enactment at the convention in August. Then the second portion is the breakdown of each one of those different points in different levels. I'm not sure you want to go through all the reading each one of them, but it's just a summary breakdown of each point. Well, I'll keep going. One guy, one aim, one destiny. Imagine a space where all our real estate assets come together under one umbrella: the Real Estate Investment Trust, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, African Communities League. This platform isn't just about combining property; it's about creating a shared vision for governance and growth in our community. By bringing our individual assets into the REIT, we're not just pooling resources; we're building a foundation for collective decision-making and empowerment. Picture a scenario where every home represents the cornerstone of our nation, with each where with a nation. Okay. By bringing our individual assets, decision made within the REIT shall shape our shared future. So in this framework, we have the opportunity to tap into a wealth of resources and expertise guiding our real estate investment towards sustaining growth and meaningful impact. The potential for economic development and job creation within our community is vast, with every property contributing to a stronger, more prosperous future. As we chart this path together, let's envision a landscape where our real estate assets serve as more than just properties. They become pillars of progress and prosperity for all members of the UNIA-ACL. Our collective efforts with the REIT have the power to shape a vibrant and thriving community for generations to come. A nation within a nation. In crafting the real estate investment trust within the Universal Negro Improvement Association, African Communities League, we're not just talking about property investment, we're talking about setting boundaries that showcase governance and unity within our community. Think of each home or commercial property within the REIT as more than just a physical structure. It's a symbol of our collective identity and strength. So each one of these breakdowns is just to it was going kind of like my talking points while there. So if we can skip down. It just breaks down those asterisks above: job creation, collective ownership. Right here, let's start right here, getting started. So I did put in next steps to get started. Come down just a little bit, President John.
Okay.
All right. We're getting started. So I wanted to make sure that, like you said, they understand what the next steps will be, and that's what this will be.
You want to start at one?
Yes, please.
All right, I'm sorry. Say go down. There you go.
So if this is accepted, the first step will be formation of a committee, basically. They will establish a committee. This is tasked with overseeing the implementation and management of the REIT. ensuring compliance with the resolution and guiding decision-making process. Then the second will be asset management. We conduct a comprehensive asset of the real estate assets to be pooled in the real estate investment trust. Hopefully that committee will then go out and see what assets we have, and the assets that we have, of course, would be the IHQ. And then the purpose of this is to build the vehicle first and then get them to put the building in the car later. So that will be done in the asset assessment when we reach out to members to see who will pay, who's okay with doing this. We're putting their properties in the trust. Legal and financial compliance, ensure legal, of course, we get it registered and all that kind of stuff. Any contracts, that would be that step. The technology development, if we need any digital platforms, which I actually already created an app for us to be able to put properties in. The member education engagement, launch the education campaign to make sure members understand what it is. And of course, business plan development will be one of the steps. Make sure we have that business plan in place so that people can understand how we're moving forward. Keep going down.
Okay.
Then recruit key personnel. Of course, we want to be able to hire people. The goal is for us to create jobs. Community outreach and partnerships will be one of the next steps. Forge partnership with local organizations, businesses, stakeholders, and recruit key personnel and launch investment opportunities. As we said, we want the REIT will be utilized to create investment opportunities within our nation or our government. I'll continue to go down. I think I put in frequently asked questions here in case they have them at convention. What is the real estate investment trust? How the REITs work? Questions like that that they may have. Continue to go down, President John.
Yeah.
Without the risk, keep going past that. And then the summary. I'll read the summary and then we can kind of move forward. The establishment of real estate investment trust within the University Negro Improvement Association, African Communities League, UNIA-ACL marks a transformative opportunity for our community. Through the pooling of real estate assets, fostering an investor mindset, and promoting economic development, the REIT embodies a vision of collective ownership and empowerment that can bring lasting growth and prosperity for all members. I extend my heartfelt appreciation to the esteemed members of the HCC for their thoughtful consideration of this resolution, your dedication, salutations. Yes. Division 421. So yeah. That's pretty much the proposal. Like I said, the summaries at the top part, the second part is kind of like just fluffing it up for the reader so that they can buy in. And I have any questions?
Yeah, we'll open the floor. Any questions, concerns, comments?
What if you don't have property or commercial property?
That's a good question.
We won't have it to.
What do you mean? What if you don't have it? Well, I guess
own property or commercial property, because listening to what you just said, it's put people who have properties to turn over their properties to the trust.
That's what it sounds like.
Right.
But if you don't have property and you don't have commercial assets.
Right. The purpose of also within the trust will be we will have an acquisition process as well, where one of the tasks will be to acquire future property. Right now, as we know for a fact, we only have one property that's owned by the UNIA. Of course, we will assess members to put in when they already own, but the next phase will be to we have a property acquisition process that we members can be involved in. To be able to help us acquire properties, and that will be discussed further.
What do you think?
So that's how they can participate by helping us acquire future properties.
What do you think the likelihood that people who did have property, like if there's 8 of us on the call or 7 of us on the call, and 2 of us had property, what do you think the likelihood of those 2 people turning their property into the trust?
President John, can you go up a little bit? So in the proposal, I did explain how they retain ownership. Can you go? Keep going? But hopefully, because the information is in there of how the how the person retains ownership. You got to keep going for me, President John. So know when to stop. People will be willing once they understand that you still retain your ownership as well. Right there, click the ownership. Click the ownership. In the context of the universe, yeah, so this paragraph explains how the person will own it. So the likelihood, hopefully, when they read this part, they'll understand the benefits of doing it,
Okay,
and
so,
they will do it. So I guess it'll be highly likely, President Rice.
so this proposal is really addressing a real estate trust proposal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I understand. So it's
Yes, sir.
not for everybody, but it's for
No,
those.
the goal is just to create the vehicle, and hopefully we can get people to put, get bodies in the vehicle later, or houses.
The other question I had, you said if it was passed at HEC, then our next step would be a committee would be established. But who would be responsible to be doing the works, put this together,
The committee.
the committee?
And
Okay.
of course, I'm from your school where you said don't propose anything you're not willing to take ahead yourself. I got that from you, so I know. I'll definitely be on the committee, and that'll be the next step.
Raise first. That's all the questions I have.
Any other questions?
So,
I was out there hustling, man.
one question, real quick. Never mind.
So, so I'm thinking that, just to follow up with Brother Ross's question about people who already have properties, willing to put it in the mix, so to speak. I'm thinking if there's gonna be a committee, and then obviously I'm trying to see how it'll be how it will be for all the members, something that will benefit all the members. If all the members are not gonna be participating, or I'm trying to see if maybe it would be better for just to have it where members of the community are participating, or just have it like within the organization. But it's just like, in regular life, there are REITs and different things that people can invest in, but not everybody is gonna invest in it. But I'm just trying to wrap my head about how to make it like something that the UNIA has ownership of, and
Right.
benefit
Okay.
all the members versus something that UNIA and its members can benefit from, but probably just selective
Right.
members which be a part of the REIT.
Yeah. So, as far as the trust is concerned, you have your grantors, which is the people who put property in. You have your trustees. Then you have your beneficiaries. So, the membership would be considered the beneficiaries for the property. Which each property will have what's called a limited beneficiary, and so the owners would benefit from any direct gain from the property, where the beneficiaries, the main benefit is the equity that we could all leverage from the collective portfolio. That the UNIA will be able to leverage that collective portfolio of all the properties is the main benefit, and there are ways that members can leverage that equity too, which is a whole nother proposal, which I was hoping to bring out once the committee was formed.
I just want to compliment, like,
I think it's a brilliant idea. It's
I
really
think-
brilliant. We just have to make it gel, but I think it's a brilliant idea.
really jailed up, honestly. Right here in the frequently asked questions, he pretty much addresses those. He says, can anyone invest in a REIT? Yes, anyone can invest in REITs either through purchasing shares on the stock market or investing in private REITs, depending on their financial goal and tolerance. I think the whole point of this of this is so that when property is bought collectively as a UNIA-ACL organization, this is the foundation that it can be settled through this right here because of previous discrepancies about property and who and what and where. This is putting it totally in the UNIA-ACL's control, and those who are in association with the UNIA-ACL. The only thing that I should see that should probably be revised is that that people that could be a part of this committee or can access this are active UNIA leadership high, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't have that, it just says anybody. And I think that would be like a flag to, you know, because it, you know, everything has to be, you know, written in a certain way. So I would say it's a number frequently asked questions. Number 8. If there's a question. Brother Mason, how do you feel about that?
Oh yeah, the frequently asked question supposed to be just general and not specific to the proposal. I was trying to keep it general, but yeah, yeah, we definitely can clarify in the proposal.
So I guess the committee would be in control. The members of the REIT would get the benefits from the day-to-day operation or whatever keeps the things afloat, but it'll always stay in the UNIA as far as the UNI members being the beneficiaries. I'm trying to
Yes, the UNIA
see
members
that.
will all be beneficiaries of the property. So that's for future property we own that's not already owned by our previous member. And if somebody donates their properties, then they would be they will have beneficial ownership, and then UNIA will have limited partnership where we basically will leverage the equity. But like if they had like somebody renting their property out, that person who owns the property will still get the rent for the property, the person who originally owned it. But the UNIA will still have it on its books to be able to leverage it as in their portfolio. But they wouldn't be able to receive. The person wouldn't give up their property and give up their rights to receive the rental income if it's one of their investment properties. If that makes sense. 10 o'clock.
Mhm.
I think President Rossman stepped away. Sure, no, Ross is away.
I agree with it. I just want it to be specific so it can support the UNIA divisions nation and worldwide. So, you know, you know what I mean?
So make it clear who the beneficiaries will be.
Yes, and who let me see before, because I want to make sure that you didn't mention something already. Yeah.
So those kind of things I wanted to kind of let the committee, have, I didn't want to just like, because people like to think that they have some involvement and stuff. So I kind of want to leave some things open. But yes, we can clarify, and then I can get it back to you guys in emails, and then we can try to get it. You guys can give your feedback based off the adjustments I make based off of what both you and Brother Eric, I saw the chat said.
My question would be, so this wouldn't be like something that you would want to propose. It would be something that you would want to discuss, because like they be having like those differentiations.
I mean, once the goal was to get them to agree to starting it and getting the committee to kind of flush out the business plan. So getting the business plan was one of the steps, the get started steps. So that's when I wanted to kind of leave it open to allow us to flush out the hows and the whys in that step of doing the business plan.
Okay, race first. Beautifully done though. Nice work.
It's first.
Okay, I'm back. Are we ready to vote on this? I mean, Brother Mason, is this ready for HEC?
Is it like it, because is it, how are we voting this in? Is it as a proposal or discussion? Because I think that's that would matter.
It's a resolution to start. It's to start a business investment trust. To be resolved that a real estate investment trust shall be established under the auspice of the Universal Legal Improvement Association and African Communities League.
Understand what was written, but I'm saying as far as your explanation, you were saying that you want to offer this as, I mean, the way that you were describing it as a discussion. The reason I'm asking is I'm not, trying to be confrontational, combative. I'm just saying it should be, said specifically because you don't want it thrown out for any reason. You feel what I'm saying? So
Well, I mean, I would say only part of be up for discussion is to the specific details. But like I said, I'm based off what you and Brother Eric put in the chat. His question was good as well. I was going to try to do another pass at it and get it back to you guys through the chat or the email if you want to, and if those you want to add those things, because I can further define how the entry point is and who is the beneficiary for is the two things that I heard you guys mention.
And who would be in like the definition and the definition of the beneficiary in this.
Right. But the reason I didn't put it in there, I wanted to let that be put out in the business plan. But so what I'll do is, yes, I will. No, President John, it's not ready for discussion. We still have 3 questions that are on the table that I do want to address, and I will do those, and then we could kind of vote on it through the text messages or chat, President John, if that's okay.
Yes. With that, we're gonna hold off. We're gonna table that proposal. I did have one proposal that I wanted to present.
Great proposal, though, Brother Macy's, nonetheless.
Thank you.
I agree.
The last one for now is in regards to our programs, specifically Course of African Philosophy, but addressed as programs. Writing it as a resolution. Resolution topic: local division programs, including training programs, can be shared with other divisions of the UNIA-ACL through the office of the Secretary General. Whereas Division 421 has hosted a portion of our local officer training program virtually via Zoom since September 2021, while having support from the Office of the Secretary General to share that program with other divisions. Whereas in September 2023, Division 421 Atlanta was prevented from sharing our officer training program through the Office of Secretary General by the High Executive Council of the UNIA-ACL. Whereas this portion of Division 421's officers training focuses on specific teachings of Mr. Garvey targeted towards what Dr. Tony Martin described as the closest thing to a book that Marcus Garvey ever wrote, The Last Political Will and Testament of Mr. Garvey. And the lessons were designed for, quote unquote, a cadre of leaders who would carry on the great work of the organization after Mr. Garvey's death. Whereas we live in a time of the internet in which we are able to attend programs virtually, and we believe that our race and membership of the UNIA-ACL are in need of immediate and extensive training and development. Whereas the Negro race has several individuals with various talents throughout the world, these individuals should be able to promote and share their skills through programs that have been developed and promoted through their local divisions. Be it resolved that the government of UNIA-ACL, on behalf of its members, allow divisions of the UNIA-ACL to share their voluntary training programs with other divisions through the Office of Secretary General for the purpose of collective development, awareness, and understanding. With it. So this is targeted at us being able to share our Course of African Philosophy course, but I'm expressing it in regards to general programs to get support from the other divisions. Are there any questions? Any questions?
Give me a second, President. I'm still reading. 1 second.
Yes, President John. And he had presented this before, and they kind of shot it down. I think one of the reasons why they said they shot it down is because we didn't get training from the Minister of Education, or we didn't get certain certification from the parent body first to teach it. Do you remember something like that?
Yes.
So have any one of us passed the class with the Minister of Education? So that way we have the certification to be able to teach something like this?
Wait a minute, pause. That's not fair because that certification course is for if you want to be on the HEC board. Like if you want to be up there with them, I thought, because that's what it said. That's what it said in the on the application.
Well, hold on, Lady President.
I mean,
Um,
correct me if I'm wrong now. I'm just saying.
well, hold on, but Ross Marvin asked a question. We went around his question. There have Attorney Emotep has completed the course provided by the parent body. But my argument is that this our program should be independent of any requirements. If we want to share a program on the Constitution, I shouldn't have to be approved by the Minister of Education to do that. If I want to share a program on, AI, I shouldn't have to be approved by the Minister of Education to do that.
A question: is it in the Constitution that courses certain courses, instructable courses have to be approved? Certain courses have to be approved by HEC, or does each division have its own right to teach Garvey in its own way?
That's my argument and that has been my argument. This is not the UNIA-ACL, Message to the People course of African philosophy. This is Division 421 Atlanta training, and we utilize the course of African philosophy, but we never claim to be the government's course of African philosophy course.
And another thing, President, I'm sorry. And another thing, President, just question. You written out the whole book, correct? Shouldn't that suffice as like a proven written accomplishment that you're trained to run this course? Because in Garvey's words, that's what you had to do to be personified Garvey. And you've actually like put in the hours and you've written the book. So shouldn't that be written and like express valued in some form?
It's valued to those that understand it.
Shouldn't we put it in in a way that it should be understood, like or in some way? I know that's kind of detailed, but I'm just saying.
I don't feel it's necessary.
It's straightforward and it's in a way that everybody can understand. I think what it is that this is not a way that the parent body trying to exercise influence or control over the division, saying if you're not approved by us, then you can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But definitely, I'm in support of it.
In a side note, President Ross, which I don't even want to have to use, and I hate the fact that, I don't want to say hate, but I don't like the fact that it's a reality personally, because I feel like it's a submission to their perceived authority. But I have completed the exam and I've passed it. But that shouldn't be a requirement for what we've been doing since 2021.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're trying to exercise control over us.
It should, yeah.
If we was doing something that was not with Garvey, I can understand. But this is with Garvey. This is message to the people. Directly closest thing, as Dr. Tony Martin said, book by Garvey. And
that's, I'm speaking to two audiences. One is in general to those that don't know, this is, just asking to be able to share training programs virtually through Zoom since we're in the age of internet. But to the High Executive Council, I am letting them know this is a program that we've been doing since 2021. It was a decision of the High Executive Council for us to stop doing this program. And we believe we have the right to continue that program, and we believe that other individuals should be invited to that program through the Office of Secretary General. But and I was thinking, like, if somebody had I'm trying to think, like a CPR class or something. Like, there's no way we don't have anyone to certify, what everybody is doing. But when it comes to this one course, now person needs to be certified to do what they're doing.
I don't even understand what counts as certification when you're the president of the whole division and been that for quite some time. But to move forward, I want to pass this resolution. I second this resolution. I want to.
Second.
Thank you. President Ross, we good. Sister Diane, Brother Art. Those 15 after.
Great work too on these resolutions, by the way. Great work, President John. Great work, Brother Macy's.
I don't know where you get the time from, President John, but you've been working.
Definitely. Race
Yeah.
first. You too, Brother Macy's. Shout out to the both of y'all. Definitely.
That's fine.
But yeah, that's why we need to close out so I can spend some time with the family. I do think we probably, we'll need to discuss this again. Lady President, I'm gonna throw that to you to organize and coordinate that. We do have a fifth Sunday.
Sorry, say that one more time.
I said I think we could come back as a division and discuss this again. I'm leaving that to you to organize. I am giving you the heads up. We do have a fifth Sunday this month in March 31st, and that will be our last day to submit any changes. So that would be my recommendation.
Race first. If I could just get like a list of what you have completed and what you have not completed, that'll help me out a lot. If there is a list, because I know we had some complaints, and I know that you kept up with the majority of those. So if you could pass those on to me, and we'll go from there. And
well, briefly, we'll go through this briefly.
we don't have to, President. We could close this.
No. It's important, and it'll be brief. So all dues paying members can vote. HEC contributors, electronic voting, that's done through this proposal. Whatever state the president general is in, one man, one vote cannot be held in the state of the incumbent. We haven't presented that one, saying my internet connection is unstable. So that's one that you can do. Policy and procedure to expel members. I tried to touch on that with the Brother Umar thing, but if we need something more explicit, that's an option. 10-year plan. This is something that I'm.
President, I don't know. You breaking up. So that's the thing. President, you're breaking up, sweetheart. I can't hear you now.
Hello?
If you're talking, President, I can't hear you. That's the ancestor speaking. We can close.
All right.
You back.
Hello? Y'all there?
We're here.
Yes.
10-year plan is something I will present to y'all. It's basically the 5-year plan with a 5-year study of next to the people that precedes it. Robert's rules. We've talked about Garvey's rules. I'd like to make a proposal to develop Garvey's rules so that we don't have Robert's rules anymore. We don't have to use Robert's rules. We talked about Brother Umar and others. Course of African philosophy. We talked about that. Beulah land, that was an idea. I'm not too worried about that. Fifth aim and object has been proposed. In the original Constitution, there were 11 aims and objects. In 2005 update, they took out the fifth aim. We made a proposal to, I'll check with y'all, but we got a proposal to include the fifth aim and state that to assist the tribes of Africa is what it would state. So we currently have 10 and we're trying to go back to 11. Disconnect individual ownership from the international headquarters. I think that's important as well. I'm not sure exactly how to do that. I do have a proposal for Shaka Barak to teach the course of African philosophy to the parent body and to, leadership that wishes to take that course at the expense of up to $5,000 by the parent body. Yeah, that was something. Funding for High Commissioner. I've talked with our High Commissioner. We can get his support to have some funding for commissioners that would help us as well as Commissioner of District 5. It would be funding for traveling and doing events for the express purpose of establishing divisions. So that's another proposal that we're looking at. And the last one that I had was Liberty Hall electronic voting. I had talked with our President Ross, treasurer, about this. The concept is if they don't agree with the individual electronic voting, can we have a location?
Brother John's breaking up.
Well, I guess we might have to finish. We'll finish later. I think, yeah, we'll finish. We can finish later. I don't have anything else. Lady President, you want to close us out?
Absolutely. All right, y'all, give me right piss and aim. One God,
One God,
one aim,
one aim,
One destiny.
one destiny.
Africa,
Africa
for the Africans,
for the Africans,
those at home,
those at home,
those abroad.
and those abroad.
How much race first?
Race first.
Race first. Brothers and sisters, have a wonderful evening. Peace and blessings.